I suppose it's a reflection of the enduring appeal of Celtic and the fan base and everything, the invite here to play in the Dublin Super Cup in July. You must be delighted to bring the club here in the summer.
Yeah, very excited about it, and pleased for the supporters that we have over here. They make some great sacrifices to come and watch this week in, week out, and it's great to bring the first team over in what's a very prestigious tournament, and the quality and calibre of the opposition is fantastic.
Just looking at the likes of Manchester City and Inter Milan, there's a feeling, I suppose, around Celtic that things have really picked up over the last few weeks, and given your own time as a player at the club and what was achieved then, is your hope and ambition that the club can get back to playing those big teams on a regular basis, Champions League football?
Well, that's the main aim, but obviously first things first is to put a challenge on in the league. We're making a good fist of it so far. We're pleased with the progress the team's made, but we're being very careful. We're not being complacent because things can change very quickly in football. But the last 6 weeks we've seen a real step up in the quality of the play, and we're hoping we can keep our consistency going there.
You're very good to come over now in the week of an Old Firm game. Imagine plenty else on your mind. Just a suggestion for the first time in maybe a little while that this is a game that Celtic go into with the initiative as opposed to Rangers.
Yeah, but the form goes out the window on Old Firm games. Rangers were favourites in the last game, and we came away with a very comprehensive win. So anything can happen on the day. It's a cup game, so it's obviously not as important as the league in our eyes, but it's still an Old Firm game, and it's only as good as the next one. In the context of the season, it's a big game. We want to keep the run going, and we'll put a very strong team out, and we'll try and go and win the game.
Yeah, just in the last couple of weeks, what do you think's gone right? Is there a natural development, or is there any one particular thing that's gone right?
Well, I think it's just a natural development. The players have had a wee downtime there with the 3 draws at home, and the pressure was starting to build a little bit. But since then, they've put a very concerted run of wins, and they've been excellent in terms of the level of performance as well. We're getting some good players back now as well. Mastorovic and Rania and Luvens and Samras, and hopefully Forrest next week. So the squad's looking very, very strong now. So we're pretty pleased with the way it's been able to cope with players being out as well.
Last couple of games you've profited from the way the team's been set up. Rangers is a different prospect at Ibrox. Will you change things for that game?
You're asking me my ideas. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it over the next couple of days. But you're right. Rangers away from home is a different animal to any of the other teams in the SPL, and it's a game that we have to win, but we can't be too sort of open and cavalier because they're very good on the counter attack as well. But we'll talk about these things tomorrow and Saturday, and we'll put a good team out there, that's for sure.
Obviously, Anthony Stokes is doing very well for you. A lot of the Irish Celtic fans are very pleased with that. He's sort of on the fringes now of the international squad. Is he a player that you think can be, we'd say, a successor to Robbie Keane, establish himself internationally going into the future, or is he at that level now?
Well, he's not far away. He's still a bits and pieces to do on his overall game, but he's a goal scorer, and he's an instinctive player, and he's got a wee bit more to his game than scoring goals as well. And once he polishes that up, you'll have a very good player on your hands, and we're delighted with him. He's in a real rich vein of form at the minute in terms of goals, and his partnership with Hooper has been very productive for us. And but he's a young lad. He's 22, and he's still learning the game, but a good personality to have around the place as well, so we've been very pleased with him.
Just hearing you talk about Roy Keane there earlier in your days, and of course you played with him briefly at Celtic. Look at some of the players now, the likes of the Darren Gibsons and the Mark Wilsons, who are northern lads who are playing for the Republic. Is that something that, if you had your time again, that you might have looked at back in the day, or is it too long ago to even remember?
It's too long ago now. It probably would have been an option that I would have looked at, you know what I mean? But I've had a great time playing for Northern Ireland, and it's always an honour to play for your country, and I look back on it with very fond memories.
Lennon and Keane in the central midfield for Ireland would have been a great option, though.
It would have been all right, aye. It would have been all right. I think the years of some of the players might have been ringing the bells too on the pitch, but he was a great, all-time great, and I'm sure he'll bounce back. The game needs people like Roy in the forefront, and what he achieved at Sunderland was fantastic, and you probably learn from what happened at Ipswich and come back a better manager.
Just in terms of tallying that with your own managerial development, you're still a very young manager, I suppose, only really full-time at Celtic this season. What have you learned about the game, and what's the important thing that young managers need to catch on to quickly?
It's a very good question. Everything's based on results, You need a bit of luck as well, there's no doubt about that. But, you learn, you look at the team, you look at the way you set it up against certain opposition, and you learn from that. If it goes wrong, you try and bounce back from the adverse results, and you try and keep on a level playing field. You know, don't get too high and don't get too low. But at a club like Celtic, that's pretty difficult at times.
Just finally, Neil, there's been a bit of a crazy week, as it always is around this time of year in English football with the transfers. Do you kind of look at that and sort of think, God, I love that money, or do you think, look, that's just crazy, that's not what we're doing here, and there's a better way of doing it, which is this approach Celtic have? Well,
we've been quite imaginative in the transfer market, particularly this year, and we found some really good players for, you know, decent money. You know, we can't compete with the EPL because of the Sky money, obviously. But we know that, and but there's still good players out there for a certain price, and there's only a few clubs that can afford that sort of price tag anyway. You know, the Chelsea's, the Man United's, and maybe a couple of teams in Spain as well. But I don't look on enviously at all. You know, sometimes you can bring a player in for big money and it can upset the balance of the squad at times. But you know, good luck to all those players who've gone to those big clubs. I hope they're very, very successful, and they can't do anything about the transfer fee. It's not their fault. They don't set them.
Just finally, Neil, I'm sure you're looking forward to bringing your own players who are impressing everybody here in July for the Dublin Super Cup.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. We've got a huge fan base here. I love bringing the team down. It'll be a full strength squad as well, so I hope our supporters come out in numbers.
Great stuff.
Thanks.
Excellent.